See you guys, awesome costumes. Hey, by the way, where's Phantom? I've finally done it! Done what? Some random evil vampire told me if I took a copy of Castlevania Symphony of the Night and some random magical shard we randomly found, then we could get maximum candy. That's not a good idea in the slightest. It's Halloween. You might accidentally summon a castle from hell or something. When has that ever happened? Wait, it's Halloween? Shouldn't you, dress up for Halloween? You wear the same dress every day. What, is my outfit not Halloween enough for you? Does it need to have frills and sparkles and all that shit? I guess you're right. Devil Trader! God damn it. The castle is pretty strange. You're telling me, hey, didn't I tell you not to... Oh, wait, a message. How did you hear that? My phone's on vibrate, not silent. Well, what does it say? To escape the castle shard, please critique the castle. By the way, wait a minute, stop. Did whoever text you actually type that? Yep. Well, since we need it after our wacky time adventure, great. Well, let's start the review. I want my trick-or-treat candy, and we gotta finish this review before 10. Otherwise, all of the fancy people stop giving out candy. If you don't know, I'm a massive Castlevania fan, and I'm also a huge Metroid fan. So, of course, the Metroidvania genre is one of my personal favorites in the video game genres. So, when I heard that the creator of Symphony of the Night was coming back to make his own Metroidvania game, and it was going to be a spiritual successor to Symphony, I had to check this one out. And knowing that Bloodstained was going to be originally, thank God that Konami didn't have anything to do with it, because they would have turned the game into a pachinko machine, and this was his own creation, had me astonished. Also, it was made by 404 Gaming and a couple of other, indie developers, making it seem a bit more on the indie side, and it was really fun to start off. Also, this game was one of the most kick-started games until Shenmue 3, which is, well, it's Shenmue 3, which is going to be a masterpiece. And, this game looks astonishing, and when I saw the main character, I had to pick it up, dude. But yeah, first we got an 8-bit version talking about a character without getting to when I talk about the story that I really do enjoy, and then we got a 3D version, and the 3D version is great. This is the one I'm going to be talking about, and it's actually this game. I wouldn't mind the sequel. They have many other games to show. So yes, let's go on and talk about Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Okay, maybe we should investigate the castle from the inside, Dave. Good idea. Hopefully nothing goes wrong or anything. Maybe you can read these books to get some type of idea about the story of this place. This is a very video gamey story. Not saying it isn't a very good story, just not very great. Don't expect any, secret tie-ins or, twists and turns. They do happen, but it's like you kind of see it as someone who's played a lot of video games. There's not a lot of deep lore with it, which actually there is a lot of deep lore, but it's more into the history. But after that, there's nothing really, how do I put it, super special about the story. It's been done before. So the Industrial Revolution has happened, and if you're a history nut like myself, that was a pretty well sucky time. Pretty much kids had to work, religion kind of took a back seat, and that's why the shard binders were made. They were made to kind of scare the religion back into people, and they were made to summon demons to help, do the work and, summon demons from hell. But the church wasn't really having it. They was like, hell nah. And they killed most of the shard binders for alchemy practice, and you know how that goes. If you know history, you go against the church back in the day, you'd pretty much be crucified or murdered. And that's pretty messed up. Thus, only Miriam and Jebel were alive, yet Miriam was put into a deep sleep, and Jebel was out here conversating with demons and shit. So, as we get into it, Jebel is the main villain or so, we think actually, summons up demons to attack the church. That's the more straightforward and direct thing. You meet a samurai, a nun, and it's just a very simple and less complicated way to understand. To be honest, out of all the games I've ever reviewed, this is the least complicated story besides Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. And to be honest, I do like that. It does focus a little bit more on the characters, and you can actually talk to them and get to know their backstories when you take up side quests and stuff. So yeah, this is a very easy and simple to understand story It's not the best, but it definitely is not the worst game story I've ever played. Power in this battle for the grid. Oh, no. But yeah, that's pretty much it on the story. Not much to talk about. How has no one else been lost here? I wondered that too. Hey, is that another person? Who are you? I was investigating this mysterious castle and I found you guys. So, you know about this place? I have no clue, but my name is Yuzu. I'm Phantom, and this is Dave. Look, we have to review the castle to get out of here. We can do this all together and go home. Deal, but beware, there's a lot of monsters in here. And there's one guy that's named Dracula. We'll be fine as long as we stick together, right? Right? This is where the game shines. In the actual, the gameplay part, you play as Miriam, a shardbinder who has tons of badass abilities. You journey through the castle as you fight undead hordes, capture shards, and more. So, here's the thing. This game will take you a lot of your time. You'll say I'm only going to play the game for an hour, and then you end up playing it for about half the day. Why? Because the boss fights are interesting as well. The castle is huge, and every time you defeat an enemy, and I mean even like minor enemies, enough, then you gain a shard, which will give you an ability. Look, I'm explaining shards. Shards are abilities that help boost up and empower Miriam. Some allow you to summon demons, some allow you to reach objectives you usually couldn't, and some abilities and they are interchangeable. So you have fun combining the stats. Also, the shards, the more you collect, the more depending on what type of ending you'll get. If you connect all the shards, you'll get the good ending. If you collect some of the shards, you get a neutral ending. And if you collect not that many, you'll get a bad ending. That's what I got on my first ending because, I suck. Also, you'll collect more weapons. You get the funner the way it is, even if fun is not a word. You can play as a claymore to take out a lot of damage, a knife for swift attacks, and a musket that does quick and rapid fire damage. That's a pretty amazing thing for an indie game to have such interchangeable and a unique way of, doing things like this. Also, one fun thing is guessing how to take down enemies, and exploration is really fun. It's a large castle with tons of shit for you to see, even underground, but you will be lost again and again if you don't know what you're doing. You use certain items to go and get to Stained. That'll take you back and you'll gain small items, side quests, and be able to buy potions. Now, if you don't know what stained glass is, it's just a teleportation thing. But there's also save spots where you just kind of sit down. You can also sit down in your chair for a nice cozy tea. But this game is extremely difficult even on its normal mode. Most of the bosses are extremely difficult and hard to take down. One of my favorite bosses is Zangetsu, who is voiced by the great Snake, or David Hayter, and is an awesome boss. There's really a lot to do with this game, and I love how he does the voicing for Zangetsu, making him a very intriguing and interesting character. Also, it's pretty good to hear him not be Solid Snake for once. I think that's the actual only video game role he's actually only had. I could be wrong, but that's what I know him for. Hey, look, another door open. Maybe we shouldn't go through every door we see open. Nonsense. Where's your sense of adventure, baby boy? I looked at my other job. Or that last time we got trapped somewhere. This game is completely stunning. From the environment to the characters are pure perfection. Miriam was glorious. The gothic art style is one of my favorite aspects of this game because of how much I love it. Also, Miriam after a while becomes customizable, which is awesome. Also, the music, don't get me started on the stunning music. Also, the very way the monsters look, they look fantastic and horrifying. Now, I played the PS4 version, which I will admit had some frame issues, some frame rate issues, and it did have some graphical hiccups, and it did actually do the thing where it would pause as soon as you would get a shard in you, which is kind of daunting and messes up gameplay flow, but it wasn't that bad. Now, the PC version and all that were pretty... I'll talk about that in a good thing, because the PC version is perfect. And that was about it. Otherwise, this is a very pretty and beautiful game for all systems, and I suggest you guys, if you can't even buy the game, at least admire how great the game looks. Okay, this haunted house was fun like 5 minutes ago, but now I want to go home. I told you that we shouldn't have went through every door we see open. What was that? I don't know, and I don't want to know. Who dare enters my home? The game is a love letter to Castlevania fans, and this is exactly what I wanted. The freedom to explore and combine shards, the ability to tackle bosses whenever I wanted to, the combat being so fluid and fun, the difficulty was fun, and the varied and unique enemy types that there was never just one way to play. The games were very fun and intuitive. Miriam was a great protagonist, though my favorite character was the awesome vampire OD and the monster hunter Zangetsu. Even his boss fight was phenomenal. The music was one of the greatest OSTs I've ever heard in an indie game, only being rivaled by the latest Undertale. It's a hard as hell game, which is fun and it's satisfying to me when I finally defeat a boss. This game is everything Castlevania should have been and will forever be whenever I think of a modern day Castlevania game. Who dare enter Dracula's castle on All Hallows Eve? Us? Yes, I know you entered my castle. What do you want? A lot of things, like letting us go. On one condition. Which is? Let me think on it, blue-haired woman. Caught you, woman. This game isn't perfect. Dropping frame rates, glitches, it all comes with the territory with this Kickstarter game. The PS4 version has a pretty steady frame rate, but will occasionally drop like a lot, going from a 30-60 to 45 to 30, back to 60. From what I hear, only the console ports have this issue. The PC port is the definitive edition of this game, so if I had to recommend something, get the PC port if you have a decent running PC, and if you absolutely need a console version, the PS4 or even the Xbox One version will suffice. Because the Switch port had issues coming out, and I can tell you why. Originally it was a Wii U game, but after the Wii U, Switch came out, so they had to build up a whole new game from scratch and put it onto the Wii U. Well, the Switch. So they were still running on that, which is why that one had issues. I don't know if it still got issues or not. Some of the extreme difficulty came when I got glitched twice in the bloodless fight, but it's also a really cool fight. Also, the multiple endings are kind of stupid because depending on how many shards you collect, it will depend on how many bosses you get. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't collect shards, but sometimes you're too busy or you're trying to collect enough shards to get enough to fight a boss. So it's a giant F you to the player if you didn't get enough shards, which kinda sucks. But yeah, that's all I really gotta say on the battery. Well, what do we have to do? You've been sitting there stroking your beard menacingly for 2.5 hours. Take that, wretched woman, with you! Huh? For 200 straight years, this woman has been threatening me, waking me up from my slumber, and ordering food on my credit card. Who postmates Subway? 'Cause I will destroy you, financially and realistically. You let us go if we get rid of her? Hey, I mean, sure, if you'll give us candy. What? Trick or treat? You trapped us. You're trapped here. Trick or treat? I have this bubble jar from 1999 and runts and candy strips. Deal. You're our new maid. Wait, what? This was a great game, and I loved every minute of it. I spent about, I'd say, 23 hours legit on this game, and I spent just about a week and a weekend on this game. Just straightforward exploring everything, fighting every boss, fighting every enemy, collecting every shard, trying to get every ending, trying my best to make this game fun. And you know what? It was really no problem. This game is immensely fun and amazing to play, and despite its gripes with the glitches and, frame rate, I'm not a big frame rate person, so I could have easily liked this game at a good 30. This is a fantastic piece of not even cinema, but video games in general. It shows that yes, people do love the 2D side-scroller games that can come back easily. If you have an easily recognizable character, if you have a fun way of combat, then this game should be right up your alley. Also, I was able to make this video before Halloween, hopefully. And again, you gotta try to play again to get another ending. Happy Halloween, guys. And I got a quick post-credit scene for you guys that will be telling you all about November. So you live in this cramped apartment. Yep, just the two of us. A little bit suspect if you ask me. No, it's 10. Halloween is over. Really? The rich people don't open their doors, and all the candy Dracula gave us was so old it turned to dust. Hey, there's a letter over here from Mr. Wayne? Bruce Wayne? I haven't heard from Mr. Wayne since high school.